Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining me. How are you? Have a good night, everyone, and God bless you. Alright, now we will come to today's news. I.e. Arctic's Hunter Biden. Are you sure that was the smartest decision? It seems as though the Bidens are starting to play defense. Hunter Biden is trying to get ahead of this thing more than 2 years later, which okay, defend yourself legally, do what you gotta do, because of course as the Bidens are learning, this laptop from hell investigation or probe isn't going anywhere, but this strategy that Hunter Biden is taking, I feel like, is a little bit ill-advised. Crackhead Hunter Biden's new legal strategy. His new laptop from hell defense is admitting that the laptop from hell is real and belongs to him after years of claiming that he had no idea where this laptop came from. It wasn't he was confused by the whole thing, it was a Russian disinformation plot to go after his father using him after all of these claims for more than 2 years. Hunter Biden is now filing a lawsuit and essentially admitting that it's all his and he's at the center of all the criminal activity. You can't make this stuff up, folks. Welcome to Clown World. Alright, folks. So take a look at this from the Daily Wire. Hunter's attorney's defense of the so-called laptop is so ludicrous. It's laughable. Do you ever get the sense that we live in a clown world run by imbeciles? Yes. In fact, I do very much so. I mentioned this like 5 seconds ago in the intro of this video before reading this article. The latest example of sheer stupidity of our so-called elites can be found in the latest updates regarding Hunter Biden's infamous laptop from hell. On Wednesday, Biden the Younger's legal team sent a letter to the United States Department of Justice and the Delaware Attorney General requesting an investigation into individuals for whom there is considerable reason to believe violated various federal laws in accessing, copying, manipulating and/or disseminating Mr. Biden's personal computer data. The letters were taken by many as a sign that Hunter was finally confirming that Hunter's laptop left at John Paul Mac Isaac's repair shop was actually his. Readers will remember the 51 former intelligence officials that claim that the New York Post's original 2020 report on the computer was Russia disinformation. In turn, Twitter censored the story and the rest is history. Hunter has never denied or confirmed that it's his laptop. So the legal requests sent this week appeared to be a stunning admission that his attorneys released a statement so ludicrous. It's laughable. Biden's counsel claimed that the request for criminal investigation does not in any way confirm that the laptop is actually, as these letters do not confirm Mac Isaac's or other versions of the so-called laptop. Hunter's attorney at Lowell told Fox News they address their conduct of seeking, manipulating and disseminating what they alleged to be Mr. Biden's personal data wherever they claim to have gotten it. What does that even mean? We're not confirming that it's Hunter Biden's laptop and that it's his data, but we're suing these individuals for disseminating Hunter Biden's personal data, a totally paradoxical statement. This whole Hunter Biden going on the offensive thing has become such a joke that even individuals being targeted by this new legal maneuver, namely Miranda from the New York Post, they aren't exactly taking this whole thing very seriously. Everyone listen to this. Now, Miranda, we have some breaking news tonight. The Washington Post is reporting that Hunter Biden's lawyers sent a series of blistering letters Wednesday to state and federal prosecutors urging criminal investigations into those who accessed and disseminated his personal data. So I guess that means that the guy who fixed the laptop. And why is he going after people who disseminated the laptop story if it was all Russian disinfo? That's the point. I mean, this is such an own goal. It basically Hunter Biden through his lawyers has admitted that yes, the laptop is his. It's not Russian disinformation, as those 51 dishonest intelligence officials told us. It's his laptop, which we've been telling people for more than 2 years. And finally they've admitted it with this kind of ridiculous attempt to go on the offensive. I think John Paul Mac Isaac, who I spoke to this afternoon for our story tomorrow, put it best. He said, when you're over the target, the flak becomes even heavier. And so I think that there's panic in the Biden care. Hunter Biden's legal team is also targeting Tucker Carlson of all people. Tucker must be shaking in his boots. And then some significant news. Okay, so what took place? What took place while all this was happening? Well, first of all, the Biden regime freed one of the 9/11 terrorist planners from Gitmo. Okay, now, I'm not going to comment here on 9/11 and the collusion between the people that are the foul guys for this and the real people who did it. But still, this is what happened. While we were all looking up in the sky, or on our 567-inch screens or 7-inch screens watching the news of this Bible. As a whole country was preoccupied with the Chinese spy balloon, one of the 911 terrorist planets was quietly released from Guantanamo Bay in Cuba by the Biden regime. Mohit Khan, now 42, has been moved to Belize. His legal team announced, quote, today, more than 16 years after he was brought to Guantanamo Bay and almost a year after he completed a military commission sentence there pursuant to a plea and cooperation agreement, Majid Khan was transferred to Belize. He is one of the few detainees to be relocated in the Western Hemisphere and the first to be resettled under the Biden regime. Let me cut to the chase. By the way, folks, before I get more details, there are plans for a few more high-level people. High to high-ranking U.S. officials and a former high-ranking government official told NBC that at least 2 more detainees will be moved from Gitmo in the coming weeks. So he has been resettled to Belize. This was very interesting. According to this NBC report, around a dozen countries were contacted by the administration in an effort to provide Khatani home. And there's suddenly him here on our hemisphere where he can easily go over into neighboring Central American countries, and then cross illegally and back into United States through a very porous border. If you want to do that, hell, it would be a lot easier from Belize than from somewhere else. I guess the easiest way to legally come in our country is within a white Chinese Bible and just make sure that you parachute before you get over the waters. Wow. A Pak Deni citizen and Watanabe's only known legal U.S. resident Khan was granted asylum while attending high school near Baltimore in 1998. Don't you love these asylum seekers, member? We brought in like 100,000 refugees from Afghanistan. Hope he can sleep well tonight, folks. He returned to Pakistan in 2002. And according to Defense Department detainee assessment, joined Al-Qaeda and became a direct subordinate to Khalid Sheikh Mohammed. Al-Qaeda is senior operational planner and the principal architect of the attack on September 11. According to documents, Khan was leaving money and transporting another senior Al-Qaeda figure to carry out the deadly attack on the Marriott Hotel in Jakarta, Indonesia in 2003. So there you go, folks. All that while we were looking at the sky, knowing that, but guess what else they did? They lied. Big time about the gains in the economy. Remember, while we're watching the sky balloon, Joe Biden was out there and others were out there talking about this great economy and to support this surprise addition of 517 jobs last month. Guess what, folks? It's a lie. The number, check this out. We actually lost 2.5 million jobs in January. And this is how they did it, folks. The not seasonally adjusted print for monthly change and non-farm payrolls was minus 2.5 million jobs. What they did is they did a $3 million suit. As I say million or big numbers, I want to say dollars is the banker in me. Forgive me, folks, forgive me. If you're not aware, I'm your host, James, the retired banker. The seasonal adjustment was 3 million jobs because the seasonal work or whatever, so they added their 3 million seasonal adjustment. But actually the jobs loss were 2.5 million, but because of this 3 million seasonal adjustment, it came out to a net of 517,000. Supposedly jobs added last month. Wow. This is being I'm looking at different graphs and different analysis of this from economists. Over at Zero Hedge, Angus Davis, others are looking at this showing that nope. 2.5 million people lost their jobs in the post-Christmas season. But the Bureau of Labor Statistics has said 3 million would have been a normal seasonal adjustment. They added there would have been normal seasonal adjustment to the 2.5 million jobs lost. And presto, you've got 517,000. Wow. That is why the number is so screwy. So those are 2 things that happened while we were distracted, if you will, with the sky, the spy balloon in the sky. A major terrorist being taken out of Gitmo and the first to be resettled in the Western Hemisphere, by the way, under the Biden regime, and the lie of the regime being caught. While you want to sleep well at night, focus, go back to China. A couple of things happened. Though we're finding out that there are these have heard on this before the secret communist Chinese police stations in the United States where they're monitoring Chinese citizens in America. Well, one was raided by the FBI and closed down now. Here's some really wacky stuff. Okay. There was reports that this man, says Yun Wang, was arrested almost a year ago and charged with acting as an agent of the PRC government, criminal use of means of identification and making materially false witnesses in connection with his participation in a transnational repression scheme, orchestrated by China. Okay. But that was last year, but we're finding out there was a raid, late fall, and there was arrests made post we don't know the exact date. And then this guy was arrested again. Why was he detained in March of last year and then picked up again in a raid late last year? That's the real story here, folks. How does a person get detained for something and then get arrested again for being a spy? And now we have this, folks. Last Tuesday, Vladimir Putin commemorated the 80th anniversary of the Soviet Union victory in the Battle of Stalingrad. Okay, and as it reported, last week, he told the US and allies of the Kansas to Russia and its invasion of Ukraine. Well, now we've got some more information. Now that the Germans have announced they'll be sending the Leopard 2 tanks to Ukraine. The Kremlin is calling this a move of blatant provocation. And now we have Putin saying this within the last few days. Unbelievable. But true. We are once again threatened with German Leopard tanks where crosses on their hull. And once again seconds about a Russia and Ukraine with the help of Hitler's followers. The Banda writes, those who expect to win a victory against Russia on the battlefield don't understand that modern-day war with Russia will turn out totally different for them. We aren't sending tanks to their borders, but we have the means to fight back, and they won't be limited to armor. Everyone should understand this as that another veiled or open threat of possible nuclear use. Remember, folks, one of the reasons why we hate Germany in World War II is because Germany was fighting a war on two fronts. They had Russia behind them and the Allies in front. Or they had Russia in front of them and the Allies behind them. It was a squeeze. Russia saying, yeah, Germany, we don't need tanks. You guys are thinking old warfare. We've got new things that we could come at you with. We will be back early tomorrow with the news to get you all caught up. All caught up until then, ciao. Goodbye. God bless. Smash the like button, hit that subscribe